To our weekly discussion of all things current in California politics, I'm Walt Gray. Joining us this week, Rich Ehisen, editor-in-chief of Capital Weekly publication. Rich, welcome aboard. Glad to have you here with us. The Senate race. So many ads appearing on our air, others too. Schiff and Garvey going back and forth. Schiff with the lead right now. What would the other candidates have to do, and doesn't Schiff really want to face off against Garvey in the general?
Well, to answer the second part first, yes, Schiff absolutely wants to face off against Steve Garvey. Honestly, I think he really wouldn't even care if he finished second to Garvey in the primary, because it really doesn't matter. He needs to get into the general, and that's pretty much the only thing he cares about. I think for the other candidates, with Katie Porter in particular, I think she probably still has a chance. I think a lot of people have a lot of respect for Barbara Lee, but boy, she's really trailing behind here. So right now, everybody's trying to at least get to that number 2 spot, and I think Adam Schiff would be okay even being there. He just needs to get to the general.
Yeah, you mentioned Barbara Lee. She's polling at 8% to Schiff's 25%, so she's going to need to make up a lot of ground. Down the road, we have the race for governor, less than 1,000 days now. And you have, obviously, Rob Bonta, Tony Atkins, and the lieutenant governor, Eleni Kounalakis. Where do you see this all ending up as we move forward with this?
Well, as right now, Rob Bonta is not in the race, but I think everyone presumes he eventually will be in the race. Of course, Atkins just got in. Eleni Kounalakis, she's got the biggest war chest so far, though if you look at who's raising the most money of late, that would be Rob Bonta. So I think, money does speak in our elections, and so I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. Rob Bonta is a very ambitious, very competent, very high-energy guy. I think if he gets in, I think California in so many ways is really ready to have a woman elected, but Rob Bonta is going to be the favorite if he gets into this race for sure.
Yeah, hard to disagree with that. Conservatorship law, SB 43, and how it is rolling out. Who decides who is put under the conservatorship? Is it ambiguous to some? Where do you see this rolling out?
Well, that's really a very complex question. The law that has governed that for the last, since 1967, when Ronald Reagan signed the Lanterman-Petraeus Short Law Act into law, it was pretty narrow cast, and person pretty basically had to be a danger to themselves or others, or the only external thing was maybe an addiction to alcohol. The SB 43 law that came into effect, were signed into law last year, adds substance abuse disorders to that. It is still far more complicated than that. There's a number of factors that come into play, but right now the counties are trying to figure it out as well. So that is a question that the answers are still forthcoming. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, there's 58 counties in California, and many of them are not challenged by this, but so many of them in our urban areas are. Rich, thank you.
Absolutely.
If you'd like to reach out to Rich, you can do so at rich.eisen@capitalweekly.net.